So why not claim both citizenships? And how to go about that? Well, local author Danae Konidaris has all the answers with her new book, Guide to Your Greek Citizenship by Descent. And Danae, welcome to Friday Magazine.
Thank you, Graeme.
Yes. And just tell us, what was the inspiration for the book?
Well, the inspiration for the book was, in fact, our young adult sons. They wanted to become dual citizens of Greece and Australia because their father is Greek, born in Greece, and I am Australian, born in Queensland, from Melbourne though. And they wanted to have both parents' backgrounds and cultures officially recognised, and that was the point of start with them. And also because of being young adults, they wanted to also obtain Greek citizenship because it also allows them to become members of the EU citizenship across the 27 countries. And as young adults looking to start their careers and their lives out in the world, they really felt that becoming a Greek EU citizen, not only for personal reasons, which I mentioned, but also for professional reasons, was a really good thing to do. There are lots of benefits to becoming Greek EU citizens, visa-free travel throughout the 27 countries of the EU and also the 26 countries of the Schengen zone. So that's just one of the great benefits that are there for people wanting to go out and explore and be able to work or study or start businesses or, to do businesses as legal citizens of the EU as well as Australian citizens. That just opens up a lot of opportunities on a professional level.
Were they prompted by what they had seen or been told, or mates that have done it?
Not really. I think they really looked into what it was to become a Greek citizen or a dual citizen with Greece, and they just were excited about what they could do with these opportunities. And so they wanted to keep their options open. I mean, they might want to open a business in Europe or they might not, but they wanted to have the scope to choose what they wanted to do and to have that a sense of agency that if they want to do something in Europe or overseas, that they could. And so they just wanted that, yes, they just wanted to be able to explore their options further.
And what was your initial response when they came to you with this?
Well, our initial response was, I've heard it can be, an involved process and it's going to take a little bit of time and effort. And do you really want to spend time doing that? Is it that important to you? And they said, absolutely. And they actually were a bit put out. And they said, why didn't you register us when we were children? Then we wouldn't have to sort of go through the longer process, because being adults, they now had to go through the Greek registration process as individual adults in their own right, whereas before their father could have just registered them via the consulate in Melbourne, and it would have been a much simpler, easier and cheaper process. They were sort of, they said, why didn't you do something else? Now we've got to do all the work.
How often do you hear that phrase, Mum, why didn't you? How old are they now?
They are 24.
Right. Are they twins?
Yes, they are.
Oh, okay. So I guess 24 years ago, wouldn't have, when you were happily new parents, it wouldn't have really been at the top of your list of things to do.
No, it wasn't. You know what life's like, Graeme. It's busy. Especially with twins at the start as well. You go, and it sort of, it didn't really register with us, me and my husband, I'm saying. The true value of being a dual citizen, especially with Greece being a European country, we just never really contemplated what that actually meant, because we lived here. We didn't sort of think perhaps far enough ahead for our children. And so, yes, that's on us.
Parents get blamed for everything, you know that. So you took on the process. Early in the piece, did you think this is going to be a minefield, or did it start to sort of become clear after a while?
Well, what happened is, we got information from the consulate in Melbourne of the documents that we required to present and or produce, and so we went there to the first meeting with those documents, or as many of them as we could, because we weren't able to get all of them in time for the first meeting. But what became apparent was that, first of all, what happens is the parents of the applicants, their marriage needs to be registered.
Right.
So that needs to happen first, the declaration of marriage, so that the records in Greece are matched up with that. Then the next stage is for the applicants to have their births registered. So it's sort of like in an order. But during the meeting at the consulate officer realised, you've got some unusual circumstances surrounding the applications. Oh, what could that be? And she said, well, okay, first of all, your children are adults, so they need to go through the process themselves with their own documentation. And this other thing is that you were married after your children were born. And so there's going to be other laws that apply to you. And, she wasn't sure exactly of the laws that would apply because it wasn't a very common instance. This actually took us on a not so straight path. It's about sort of being able to supply the documents you need so that the citizenship will go through. But also it's like the two cultures sort of have got to meet and work together for this sort of application to eventuate.
Right.
Because of this unusual circumstance, as the consular officer called it, she said that we would have to actually speak to the authorities in Greece to find out exactly the laws that apply to our sons and this sort of thing, and find out the extra paperwork that we would need. And we went, gulp. Well, for one thing, our language skills, we didn't feel that our language skills maybe in Greek maybe up to that level of being able to discuss this type of topic, and understanding totally correctly what we would need to have to do. And also there was the time difference, and so she suggested that maybe we should contact a Greek lawyer and to get some help in that area, and that's what we did.
Okay. It sounds like it could have quickly unravelled from that point on, but you got it all back on track.
Yes.
And
we sort of, yeah.
Was there any other major obstacle, or did it start to go along from there?
No, it started to go along from there, and we had to get some unusual documents from a few places. Like, for example, births, deaths and marriages. There were sort of special documents that were quite rare, that births, deaths and marriages, they sort of weren't sure if they produced those documents, but we had a sample that the consular officer had given us, and we were able to show them, yes, you have produced such a letter before. So, there were sort of extra things that we had to do, but along the way, there were also different factors, like external factors, that also played a part in our journey. A backlog of petitions or applications for Greek citizenship to be processed by the decentralised administration in Greece. Decentralised administration is it's a government body that serves or helps all the municipalities or the councils in the area, and so the decentralised administration had a big backlog, I think 13 months. We also had the internal restructuring of the decentralised administrations across Greece at one point, so everything shut down for a few months. And also our sons were moving around. They went to London, Singapore, they went to a few different areas, so we had to adapt, and they had to go to consulates over there as well. So that was a really great experience for them anyways, like just to go and sign papers and that sort of thing, and get special documents done.
Oh, good. To realise they had to contribute and how, what it required.
Yes, that's right.
So overall, how long did it take?
28 months. But remember also, COVID came, and so that caused a lot of delays too. Also, there was an election, a newly elected Greek government and Minister for Internal Affairs at the time, so that created a reworking of the system there as well. So there are lots of different things that came into play. So you can't really, if someone was to ask me how long will it take for my citizenship application to go through, it's really impossible to say because there are so many factors that can come into play, and also because everyone's situation is different. So when you go to the consulate, they listen to your situation and then they will advise you accordingly. So everyone's situation has its own elements to it, and different things can come into play that you might need to do. So if it was just an application that was just pure and simple from start to finish and there were no external factors involved, we've been advised that it could take a year.
So this inspired you to write the book. How long did that take to prepare and get published?
Well, it took probably 11 months, and I wanted to, first of all, get everything as accurate as I could, and I researched and I double-checked everything, and I double-checked what we did. It also includes everything that we did. So if someone's wanting to apply for Greek citizenship and are not sure what to do or where to start or how to get documents or what the stages of the Greek registration process are, the book has everything we did from start to finish and supports you all the way. So this is why it took quite a while to write it and then publish it on Amazon and Apple Books and Kobo. I just wanted to make sure that I included everything and covered as many topics as those that affected us or those that came into play with us. So there's just heaps of answers in there for anyone who's not sure about this or that. The guides will help you in a big way.
Well, it's called A Guide to Your Greek Citizenship by Descent. It's by Danae Konidaris. And you'll be talking about this on tomorrow week, March 12 at 11 a.m. Zoom presentation by the Mentone Public Library. And to book, you simply email mentonepubliclibrary@gmail.com. And there is a special guest with you, Councillor Steve Stakos, who is the Mayor of Kingston, very well known in the Greek community. In his early days, he was the youngest mayor of a city. I think he was barely out of his teens. He's had a remarkable career. And one of the elements is that you have a second book, which for young men from 19 years on, there's the prospect that having got your Greek citizenship, you may end up in the army. So you've come up with the solutions to that too.
I have, because we went through that process with the boys as well. And so that was another process in itself. It could cause some concern for males aged between 19 to 45 who recently become Greek citizens, because it's a thing that you need to sort of get onto quite quickly. For example, when the boys became officially Greek citizens and they got their Greek birth certificates, the regional military authority contacted them straight away, and so we needed to attend to getting their certificates of permanent residence aboard and then applying for their ongoing deferment of military service in a timely manner.
That's what I would call a fine balancing act. Alrighty. Well, we're looking forward to hearing you tomorrow week, 11 o'clock. And if you go to mentonepubliclibrary@gmail.com, you'll be able to book in and hear all about your guide to your Greek citizenship by descent from the author, Danae Konidaris. And thank you for your time and good luck with it.
Thank you, Graeme, and thanks so much for having me.
An absolute pleasure.